What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over all of the trades that I took last week, and I'm also going to be going over my A+ setups. So I'm going to be showing you guys 11 different markups, and I'm going to walk you through it and show you how I trade. This week was actually it was a green week for me, even though I only won 2 of the 5 days. This month has been kind of a rough start, but as you can see here, I haven't blown any of my accounts, but most of my accounts are in drawdown, as you can see. But I'm just going to keep sticking to my plan, keep trading well. The first week in July, the first week in August was a little bit rough. Some of these should have been green days if I had actually stuck to my system. And that is exactly why today I'm going to be showing you the ideal setups as well. Because I think I need to start looking at those again, because had I just followed my system, I wouldn't have, made so many mistakes in these last 2 weeks. So going to be just kind of walking through all of my trades, and let's just jump in. So we are going to start with Monday. So for all of my trades, you're going to see a purple line, that's the overnight VWAP. You're going to see a blue line, that's the New York VWAP, and it's anchored to the market open. And all of my trades, I trade on the 2-minute time frame. And this week I switched between ES, NQ, and YM, but I will specify that as well. So this is MES. This is the first trade that I took this week, and this was a win. So I marked out this pivot right here, and as you can see, it retested it multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it closed above the blue line, the New York VWAP, and that is usually when I like to enter. So I entered, I got a 1.6R, I put my stop loss below the low of the day right there, and that was MES, and that was my first win of the week. So another good setup, so I took the long here, but I also could have taken a short later. And again, I think that first trade that I just showed you was the ideal setup, but this is another option, and this was a short. I think I need to start looking at shorts more, because I've been really comfortable just kind of longing every day, and sometimes it works out, but there's a lot of opportunities to take shorts as well. So I marked out this pivot. This is the second candle of the session, 632. And as you can see, it broke above, but then it closed below the pivot level, it closed below the New York VWAP, and it closed below the overnight VWAP. Could have taken a short entry right there, stop loss above the high of day, targeting a 1R, and that would have worked out really nicely. But honestly, the first trade that I actually took was the ideal setup, but I wanted to show that one as well. Okay, Tuesday was a loss. This is the trade that I took. This is MES. I marked out this pivot right here. It broke below it, and then it closed above the New York, so I was targeting this high right here. As you can see, I was actually, and then I had further confirmation when it broke above the overnight VWAP as well. And honestly, I thought this trade was gonna work out in my favor. I was basically in profits the whole time until it shot down and took me out. But again, like, this was a good trade. This was just one of those trades that the execution was good. My system, I still stuck to that, but it was just unlucky. And sometimes, like, even though the setup is good, the trade's not going to work out. But I'm not mad at this loss at all. I think it was still a really solid trade, and it just happened to not work out, and that's okay. All right, so the ideal trade was also on MES. And this was a short as well, and you could have caught a 2R here. So I marked out this pivot right here, broke above, and then it closed below the pivot. It closed below both VWAPs, and you could have entered targeting a 2R with that stop above the high of the day, that market open right there. And this would have been a really, really, really nice trade, but I did not take that trade. I was looking for longs, like I said. Okay, so this is Wednesday, August 12th. I was trying to long MES again. So I marked out this pivot right here. It broke below the pivot, and it held above this VWAP. So for me, that's a really good entry signal. Well, that's a really good, like, it signals bullish to me. This market structure specifically, when it breaks below the overnight but closes above it and kind of like just holds above it, that's a really good sign for longs to work out. So I actually entered early. I entered on the VWAP touch as opposed to the close right here because I just wanted a better price and I felt like it was gonna just go up. So I entered right there, and as you can see, I basically immediately went into drawdown and ended up getting stopped out. This trade, honestly, like I'm not super mad about this trade. I think it was it's a solid idea, and it just kind of didn't work out. I am trying to get away from entering early, like I said, but even I like with this candle close, I could have entered there, and I would have gotten a worse price, and it still wouldn't have worked out. So, it's not that, not the end of the world that I entered on the touch, but I do want to get out of that habit and really entering on my confirmation, which would have been right here. Okay, so the ideal was a short, and you can see I marked out this pivot right here, and it broke above it, and then it closed below the VWAP, entered short there, targeting 1R, and having the stop loss right there. And honestly, this Wednesday, you can see like the price action is just weird. There wasn't really a lot of big moves up or down, and honestly, kind of a tough trading day this Wednesday was. All right, so Thursday I traded YM because ES and NQ were just kind of soaring and they weren't pulling back a lot, and I just noticed that YM was kind of lagging, so I wanted to catch that bullish move. I had a feeling it was just lagging behind and it was gonna kind of catch up, which it did, and I actually basically caught the top of this move, which was pretty crazy. So I marked out this pivot right here. It broke below it here and it broke below it here, but then it closed above the overnight, and I took that as my entry as opposed to closing above the New York VWAP, because had it closed above the New York VWAP, I would have gotten a way worse price, I guess, if that makes sense. So and again, like NQ and ES were like soaring, so I had a really good feeling this was gonna work out, which it did. Yeah, I wrote it here. MES, MNQ soaring. And I've kind of noticed that YM really kind of usually is lagging behind a little bit, so I had a lot of confidence in this trade. Immediately was in profit and took a nice 1-point AR. This was a really nice trade. The ideal on ES. So I could have taken another short. I really wanted to just show how my system works with shorts as well. And as you can see, again, there was really barely any pullbacks and it was just kind of soaring. There was a little pivot right here, broke above it, and it closed below that New York VWAP with the stop loss above that pivot and above this right here, targeting 1.1R. This would have been a nice trade as well. Although my main price target probably would have been the market open, which was here, and it did not hit that. So just also goes to show, anytime it's a 1R or above, it's good to just kind of get out and take it. Move on to the next day. All right, so NQ, this was the trade that I lost on NQ. As you can see, I was looking for a long. I marked out this this pivot is the pivot that I was playing off of, and I had my stop loss below the low of the day. So I marked out this pivot right here. You can see it broke below, but held above the purple VWAP, which is, again, a signal that I really like. And then it closed above the New York VWAP, entered along there, and as you can see, it immediately basically went into drawdown, knocked me out. And the thing about this Friday trade that I really just wanted to talk about is that on Friday, I kind of had the feeling that shorts were going to work out, and I really wanted to take a short, but I didn't. And I was like, you know what? Longs are in. We're at all-time highs. I just feel like longs are just easier for me right now, and I want to get out of that habit because this was a beautiful short, and I'm going to show you. You could have taken the short on NQ or ES, and it was a really, really easy trade. So you marked out this pivot here. It broke above, kind of retested once and twice, and then it closed below that New York VWAP right there. You could have entered having the stop loss above the high of the day. And I mean, this is a 4R. This would have been crazy. You could have even gotten a 2R, a 1R on this trade. And I mean, this thing just really ran. And I even think it ran even lower as well. But you could have taken this on NQ or ES. It's the same, basically the same setup here. Pivot, broke above it. This is actually more of a clear break above, and then the close below both VWAPs, entered, boom, 3R right there. But again, you could have even caught just a 2R. But that was the Friday ideal trade that I definitely feel like I missed, and really should have just followed my gut and looked for the shorts. But that's okay. And the last thing that I want to talk about for this video is my TradeZella. So if you see my TradeZella, right, I am 3-7 this month so far in terms of trading days, and that is a terrible record, to be honest. But I haven't blown any accounts, right? My accounts are in drawdown, yes, but like having this kind of being able to see this and also not blowing accounts is what's going to keep your accounts alive, and it's what's going to push your accounts further into the green. As you can see, my overall like P&L, like I'm in a little bit of a pullback right now, and that's okay and that's natural. And the reason that I'm able to keep my accounts alive like this is because of my daily loss limit. So my daily loss limit is like my number one rule that I will never break. Sometimes I'm a little like flexible with my entries and a little bit flexible with just my trading and when I'm trading and stuff like that. But what never changes for me is my daily loss limit. It's what has allowed me to take payouts. It's what has allowed me to keep my accounts alive for as long as possible. So I am never risking more than $200 per account per day. So that is why, as you can see, I'm in a very like red month so far. But again, not really in the red all that much because of my daily loss limit, right? Like even this past week, I lost 3 out of the 5 days. But it actually ended up being a small green week for me because I'm capping my risk. I'm minimizing my losses, right? So that is, I think, the most important part of trading is your risk management, and I'm going to make many more videos about this in the future. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.